Hey everybody, and welcome to the first part of a new series. It's basically going to be a video where I, as someone who knows basically nothing about chess, knows nothing about how to play it, has seen it's kind of been gathering a lot of momentum lately, and thought I'd give it a go. I'm going to try and teach myself or learn how to play. So I suppose be ready for tons of mistakes. Probably shouting at me down below to tell me that everything I'm doing is wrong. But we'll learn along the way. I'm not going to go into too much more than that, but we'll probably play a couple of games. And I guess let's just jump into it. And here we go. We've got an opponent, someone else in the United Kingdom, and I guess always going to be similar rating. And I seem to be the white pieces. I've no idea what a good start is. Let's move this fella forward. And we'll follow up with this. One thing I do know about the game is that sort of taking control of the middle here tends to be a good idea. So I think like sort of moving your knights forward early, getting some control over there is something you do want to look to try and do. Here, I'm not really. It's probably too early in the game to really be analysing anything too much, but I'm thinking my pawn to here looks pretty terrible. So I'm thinking if I move this one forward, we can then look to go up here maybe next and protect from this coming in. So as I say, it does look like there's a lot of interest in chess at the moment, and it's a game I played a little bit when I was a kid, against family members, friends, whatever. But never really done anything serious whatsoever. So I thought, while there's a bit of interest in it, why not give it a go myself and see what we can do. Here, kind of looking at a couple of moves. So I kind of like the knight here looks quite good. To me anyway, I've no idea if it actually is. I think if my knight goes up to here, it's then got an option over to here, maybe with some protection from a bishop. With that in mind, I think we'll start by moving this forwards, with the idea of bringing out the bishop maybe to here. Start getting that involved in the game, because currently he's quite pinned back. So here, this move, I mean, it does put me under some pressure. It means I can't move this knight without moving something else first, because obviously we'd kind of put the queen out in the open. But what we can do is kind of do the same thing back to our opponent. Pop the bishop over there, and then his knight is also pinned in place. Otherwise we would have the same kind of option on his queen. Seems good. I don't know if it is. And I'm guessing if I was playing black here, I'd be looking at something like possibly knight over to here looks quite good to me. It's kind of giving a lot of control in this area. There's not many things I could do to stop it. Here, so he's moved his bishop. This gives this a bit more reinforcing. I mean, there's not much I could have done here anyway. What I do think I like in this situation, because I pointed out that this potentially could be quite a strong move for our opponent, bringing the queen to here does kind of pin this in place, because then it would give us check on his king if he was to move it, and because of that I think that's the move I'm going to make. The other consideration I had was maybe moving this pawn forward to threaten his bishop, which I think is what we'll do now. I think he is looking to get this knight involved somewhere else, hence the queen move there. I think if this knight does move, we've got a few options. We can obviously move away, so if this does come to here or to here, it does leave our queen exposed, but we could either move the queen back, we could move a pawn forward to give it a bit of protection. So I think creating a threat elsewhere on the board is probably a reasonable idea. In fact, you see, this is where I mean I have no idea what I'm doing. This looks like an immediately good move to me, then the more I consider it, the more I think actually is it. And I have no idea if it is. I'm gonna just go with the fact that my gut might well be right, and that's what I'm gonna do. Again, if I'm the only opponent here, I think he's looking to be moving this knight. No, he's has decided to protect his bishop, and it does give him a threat on my rook. It's interesting. So this bishop isn't protecting anything. I think the best thing we can do is probably to defend our rook. And I guess the only way for me to really do that is to move it. I could put the bishop here, but then he does just have the option of taking. I think the only real choice I have here is this or this. I think I prefer this on the basis that this pawn is currently unprotected, whereas this one has protection already. So if I move this here, this stays protected from his queen. So I think that is the move I will make. Because otherwise I think this is quite a dangerous thing for us to keep an eye on. Still feel like the opponent's probably looking for something with their knight over here. I know I certainly would be. This bishop feels really kind of unimportant now. I mean, it's forced to move out of me, but it's kind of offering not a lot down in this area anymore. And not really any reason for me to give it much interest. So here, this pawn does interest me. Not really sure what his intention is here, and I don't really understand this move. I might well be missing something, but this one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What I do think I want to do, I want to get this knight into play. It's doing nothing at the moment. It doesn't have anywhere brilliant, but it here is covering, you know, it stops this knight moving. You know, this is obviously then really quite well reinforced. And I think more importantly, it allows me to get my castle into play. My rook. Sorry, I suppose I should use the real names. At least pretend I'm somewhat professional. So I think that's the move I'm going to make. We'll go to there. I think it's worth mentioning the reason I'm doing this. I know everybody is probably thinking the same at the moment. That you know, but why is there a boom in chess? I mean, much like I guess everybody else, I watched Queen's Gambit and then just couldn't help myself but get involved in it. This move does put some pressure here. I think the only real choice I have, so here feels better to me because it keeps some sort of pressure over here. The other option I think is here. So I think here or here. Here is obviously poor. Here the bishop's not doing much. Again, I have no idea which one is correct. I'm going to go here just because it keeps some pressure on these pieces. I've no idea whose position's better at this point in time. I wouldn't want to... We'll have a look at some of the analysis after the game, but I wouldn't want to pick who's the favourite to win from here. Feels fairly even, although obviously our opponent is up a piece. So he has now moved this forwards. It's not putting any pressure on anything. It does protect this bishop. We have no threat on it anyway. This move does look quite strong. So this allows, if this knight comes to here, it allows him to both put us in check and look at this rook, which kind of gives him the rook for free, which is not a nice position at all. So we do want to be careful of that, but we also need to be mindful of the fact that our queen is under threat here. I think the only way for us to defend against both of these, and it doesn't feel great, is probably to take this and, you know, force the response up there. I think my other options, the pawn forward to protect this, then the knight comes in and we're kind of not in a great spot. I suppose the other choice we have is just bring the queen back, possibly to here. This protects both. And I do need to make a decision fairly quickly because I know we're significantly down on clock. I think we'll go here. I think this does a good job of stopping both of the options for the opponent there. We'll wait and see what he's up to. Need to be a bit quicker about making my decisions here and about making the moves. So we are down by about 4 minutes at the moment, which isn't a great position to be in. Do need to get this bishop involved in the game. So this might be something we look to try and, you know, bring into play a little bit. Maybe by, you know, this move looks quite strong for us. So this pawn forwards, this is threatening in 2 positions. Do we have any reason to take it? So if we take here, what's his best play? He has a choice of taking it 2 different ways. This is an interesting one. I don't know what the intention is with this. This pawn currently feels like... This feels like an okay swap for me. And I suppose that was the game plan. Completely missed that, as you can probably tell. I wasn't joking when I said I know nothing about this game at all. Obviously that's been available to him for a couple of turns and hasn't been done, but hey, there we go. I need to hurry up with some of these moves, so we're going to go here. This forces this bishop to go backwards, really. Kind of feeling like this game is probably not ours to win at this point, due to a couple of fairly big mistakes, but we'll have a look at the analysis afterwards and see if I can pick up anything to take into the next one. Let's see if there's anything I can learn. So here we can offer this swap. If we do, it leaves our bishop fairly exposed. I think this move looks reasonable. It kind of forces them into doing something. Probably just taking it. That lets us take with the pawn. They end up with the pawn out of the deal. It's not great for me whatsoever, but I don't know that I have many other moves. The other thing I'm looking at is possibly rook coming over. Just this feels right, so we're going to go for this. I think it's possible this is completely wrong. We'll remember this at move 15 and have a look at the end. See what it's what the analysis thinks. I'm going to take this here on the basis that this then allows us to take this bishop. So this feels like an okay trade here. Really running out of time now. The opponent has 5 minutes on us, so definitely need to improve on that for our next game. Realise I still have a threat over here as well, so we'll be looking to possibly do something here. This does get this rook into the game as well. Our opponent's still up by 5 points at this stage. which isn't a brilliant situation for us, but I don't think the game's completely over. It's certainly not a good position to be in, and it's mostly of our own doing, but hey, nothing if not going to continue. So this move stops this knight from moving. I think we do need to defend this, and the only real way for me to do it is a choice of these two. I think I'm going to keep this here because it does give us a lot of control here. This felt like a nice way to defend this. Again, no idea if that was right. Then allows me to move up to here. This is protecting both. Does allow him to just take this pawn, but running out of time to make better decisions at this stage. Okay, he's chosen not to. I'm out of time. I think this is expected for my first game or two. Let's have a look at the report though. I mean, it feels like we were going to lose this game. Okay, let's have a look at what the computer thinks we should have done. I mean, immediately this doesn't look brilliant for us. Very quickly I was massively behind. This is probably the point I threw the queen away. And 5% accuracy. I mean, our opponent only had 10, but I guess that's to be expected at the kind of level that I'm playing at the moment. You know, this is pretty indicative of what the first few games are going to be like. Hopefully I'll be able to improve pretty quickly. Who knows? Let's have a look at what some of the key moments were. So this is our last book move. I don't know any openings. I don't know any defenses as black. You know, I wouldn't be able to follow one through if I wanted to. I guess, you know, we could have a look at maybe learning one or two of these, and probably will help. But let's continue and have a look at the next key moment. So here, this is classed as a blunder. I guess I should probably try and have a look at why that is. I mean, this to me felt immediately like a good move. And I will have a look at what the computer suggests here, but I'm kind of curious as to why this is so poor. And I suppose, now I think about it, it is simply because they can take our knight, which isn't what happened. And you can probably tell I don't really know what I'm doing with the reporting at the moment. Let's get ourselves back to here so we can have another look. So this move, I guess the reason it is so bad is simply this, which I just completely missed when we were playing the game. This knight is completely undefended here. So I'm assuming what the computer probably likes is something like this, I would think. Let's have a look and see if we can work it out. So this put us at an enormous disadvantage. This move here, so this is significantly better, which is, yeah, a great thing to realise. I guess the lesson to take away from this one is pay more attention to unguarded pieces. I mean, our opponent didn't punish us immediately. You know, their next move was to bring their queen up to here. Obviously, looking at the threat that we had through here, at this point, you know, this is the same mistake again. Really, we needed to move this bishop to one of these two locations. Just out of curiosity, we're going to have a quick look at which one the computer believes is a better play. So this is still fairly poor. Still fairly poor. Interesting. So the move of the bishop isn't the best move here. The computer likes moving the knight over compared to what we did, which is a good point. It still defends this, but at this point I hadn't realised that there was a threat on our knight that we couldn't do anything about. So this was the linchpin of this game, I suppose. Let's go back and then carry on through. So, and then eventually we do get punished for leaving that knight unattended. Obviously our opponent picked up on it, and this looks like the swing in the game. And there's probably not much more to learn from this. And this is where we ran out of time. I think that's everything we probably need to look at for this game. We'll move on to another one, and hopefully less eye-watering mistakes, and we'll see where we get to. So you're back with me for game number 2. I'm going to play the same opening because I just kind of feel like once we've got ourselves a game... Okay, we won't play the same opening, we're going to play as the black pieces. So our opponent started on pawn over to h4. Now, again, I don't know an enormous amount about the game at this stage, but I do feel like opening with these pawns on the side is not where you want to be. So what I will look to do is try and take some initiative in the middle, and try and, you know, maybe punish some of these moves. Going to move this pawn because there is already an open diagonal along this into their rook, and if this bishop can come into play, obviously that would be a, you know, a big swing point for us already in this game. So we'll see what our opponent's response is. I'm liking the look of this move if nothing else changes. Otherwise I'll probably look to move one of our knights and get them into play. Probably thinking this one. See if this can get involved. Looks like an okay spot for it to end up over here, so let's see how our opponent responds with this one. Okay, so we've got another side pawn moving forward. I'm not sure I understand the idea behind this, so I'm going to continue with what I was initially thinking is a good line. And I think this, you know, is probably a very big swing in the game already. Being able to capture a piece of, you know, the rook's value so early without losing a piece myself. So what we will do, go ahead, do that. And hopefully pick up our first win. You know, not everything is all said and done just yet. But I certainly... happy with the position we're in, although respect the fact that it was probably caused by a mistake from our opponent. We'll see how they respond and continue on forwards. As I say, this is the first video in what's hopefully going to be a series on my channel. Channel's fairly new, so if you do enjoy the content, you know, please, like everybody says, click the like button, click the subscribe button. It will really help other people see this, and you know, hopefully you do enjoy it. It might end up being incredibly triggering for people who do know what they're doing in chess, but at the same time, who knows, maybe it's entertaining, and if you can give me some tips, please do. I will read all the comments if there are any. Okay, so our opponent has responded. Their bishop's moved out to here, so this is threatening here, but you know, there's multiple pieces defending that. It doesn't actually feel like a threat really to me. I think I like this bishop probably needs to come back at this point. Conscious it could quite easily get trapped in, which we don't really want to happen, so I think bringing it back to a sensible spot on our side of the board is probably a great thing to do. So I think I like it here. Again, we'll see how our opponent responds. Okay, so they've gone ahead and taken this pawn. I think, I'm not sure whether this is not really sure what's going on here, but at the moment. I kind of feel like I'll take a win any way I can get it, and this is, I suppose this is one way we can get it. Here, we don't have an enormous amount of choice other than, you know, either this trade happens in their direction or it happens in our direction. It essentially leaves the question, would we rather our king end up here, or their rook end up here, or their knight end up here? I don't know what the best is. I kind of feel like this, if I take, it allows them to develop and, you know, move one of these pieces forwards for free. I don't really like the idea of that, whereas if we make them take, and we then respond, I think it does allow us to sort of take a, you know, bit of initiative elsewhere on the board, and I think that is my reasoning for taking my knight forwards rather than capturing the bishop. They have gone ahead and done it. I think this is better for us this way round, so I will take this with my king. The reason, like I say, I prefer this is because these two pieces here and here stayed on the back line. Otherwise we were allowing one to come forward for free. I think that does benefit us. And I also think, you know, the fact that we're ahead here, I think trading pieces is better for us in this situation than it is for our opponent. And using that logic, I am going to move our knight forward. I kind of like it here. They've immediately taken it. I think in their position, I'm not sure I understand this. I think I would have probably just moved this away. And I kind of feel like at this point this is our game to throw away, really. And you know, if there's a way to do it, I may well find it. We will see. As you probably saw in the last one, still don't really know what I'm doing. So a couple of moves I'm looking at. I kind of like the queen to here. It kind of keeps this pawn pinned. We've got some options if they, you know, we've got some movement. It gets our queen into play, certainly a lot more. I do like trying to put some pressure on this rook. It's very exposed. Following that logic, I think that's what I want to try and do. So I'm going to try and get this knight into play and sort of move it down kind of this side of the board and see if we can get some pressure in this kind of this area here. See how our opponent responds. This is say first video of a series I'm hoping to run. I am intending to put a few more videos on the channel. I think you'll see some stuff just sort of generic gaming. I play all sorts of AAA through to indie games, but I'm a big fan of things like strategy games, which is why chess kind of appealed to me, and I thought I'd maybe give it a go. It is because that's the kind of thing that interests me. I find it fun anyway, so I thought I'd give it a try and make a series out of it, really. I think you'll probably see me playing some other things along the lines of, you know, simulators, strategy games. It's kind of the plan for the moment. The rest of the plan for the channel, I think it's meant to be a hobby for me. My intention is just to kind of share things I enjoy doing, playing onto the channel, and hopefully people enjoy watching it. I don't know. If you do, great. If you don't, I guess that's just a situation that you know, can't please everybody. So, you know, you could expect to see some stuff like sort of motoring related. I'm quite into that kind of you know, cars, motorsport, that kind of thing. So you may well find I make some videos in that space at some point. Here our opponents moved their rook over. Again, I think the fact that we're ahead makes trading better for us. Generally, rooks are more valuable than bishops, so I think just taking here, sure, it allows this, and we do lose our bishop, but I think the rook's more valuable. Definitely feel at this point that we're ahead. I'm assuming our opponent will take this with their knight, but I don't know for sure. We'll see. We'll see how they respond. I've not watched any tutorial videos about chess, so you are going to get the full, blind experience of me learning as we go, I suppose, over the next few videos. And who knows how long I'll keep this going. I think we'll see. I guess it depends what the interest is like, and it depends how much fun I'm having playing the game, really. And at the moment, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I've got a lot to learn. So I think there's some legs to it, and we'll see what happens. So we're still waiting to see how our opponent responds. I mean, I am assuming that this is almost an automatic play at this point. It just seems the best play in their position to me. I think I much prefer the situation we find ourselves in. Obviously, we're significantly up, 13 points ahead, according to the computer and the simulator. It would be a minor miracle if I managed to throw this one away, but I've certainly done similar things in the past. It wouldn't shock you to hear after seeing my performance in the last game. We'll continue waiting on them. I'm playing 10-minute chess at the moment because I think anything less than that, while I'm trying to learn and evaluate moves, is just not a good idea, really. I think, if we're going for 5 minutes, for example, wouldn't have anywhere near the time I need to kind of understand whether the thing I'm doing is correct. I mean, I'm not in a position where it's automatic or even close to it at this point, and I think, this way gives me a good chance to at least make some analysis of what's going on the board and try and make an informed decision. Whereas I think if I was playing any less length of time, it would just be knee-jerk reactions. Now, we're still sat here waiting for our opponent. I think, not sure if they've gone, if they're still there. Who knows? We'll wait and see. What I might do is cut here and jump back in with you when our opponent does make a move. So you'll see me in the very near future when they are back with us. So brought you back in now. I've had a message pop up saying that our opponent's going to auto-resign in 10 seconds, so I'm guessing this is how the game's going to finish. I think we were pretty certain to just take the victory from here, so what we will do is have a look at the report again and have a look if there was anything that was, glaringly wrong, have a look at why, maybe try and take a lesson from the game. I think that's my intention for every game, is that hopefully we can, pick up on one thing that we can maybe do better next time and try and put that into place, really. So we'll wait for this one to just finish. It looks like we're going to have to wait the full 30 seconds. I'm not really sure how chess.com works just yet. Haven't used it very long, haven't really used it very much at all. Hopefully this isn't a common thing where you just sit around for sort of 5 minutes waiting for an opponent to just sort of time out. I'm assuming it's not, but maybe it's more common lower down the rankings. As you can see, if the lower number was better, we'd be one of the best in the world, I'm sure. As I think the higher number is better. We're right down the bottom of the ranking tables at the moment, so we have finished the game there. Let's go and have a look over the report. Immediately, I'm seeing no mistakes, no blunders, no missed wins. That does seem like a good position for us to be in. So let's have a look at what the computer analysis does say. So there we go. So accuracy-wise, actually played 96.7%. Possibly, I'm pretty happy with that at this point. Actually, I think that's a really good position for me to be in on my second game. It's showing one mistake and an inaccuracy here, so we'll have a look at those and see if there was anything obvious and anything we can take away from it. I'm not sure if this was just because our opponent played in a way that made the moves quite obvious. But let's play through this anyway and have a look at the key moments. So our last book move was our first move. I don't know if that's a, a good situation to find myself in at all, but it does say already black has an advantage, so you know, who knows, maybe this was a decent move. I'm not sure if this is a genuine opening, and if it is, what the response is, but you know, we find ourselves slightly ahead, so. The computer's confused by this, and actually he has kind of swung the game back in their favour. So this is actually quite a significant missed opportunity as far as the game's concerned. So we will have a look at what it believes is the best move. And it thinks just taking more control of the centre is the thing to do. I guess here is, you know, this is probably a situation where I was tunnel visioned on this move, and as I move up the rankings, this kind of thing I assume just won't work anyway. Our opponent obviously didn't see it in the game, so it ended up being a great play for us. I guess objectively, you know, we should play to have the highest percentage in each game that we play, and if that move is this, and just control more of the centre, then that's probably the thing I should be looking to do. But anyway, we'll carry on. This class is the best move. I think at this point, you know, it's obvious to me that putting this rook under threat here is a great idea. I did expect our opponent to move it, but as we'll see, they didn't. And I think this is the point where we kind of won the game, really. I called it out when we were playing, but this situation, you know, it's very hard for them to come back from, I suppose. Continue on, see if there's anything else. And that's the point where they gave up. What I will do is just very quickly flick through the analysis just to see where our other mistake was. Okay, so this is the other one they didn't like. I thought bringing this bishop back out of danger, I didn't want it to get trapped at all, was a good thing to do, but I suppose it can just sit on this tile here at least for a while and come back later in the game. You know, the only thing they can really do to put it under any kind of pressure is to move the bishop here, and then we can just take. So I can understand this actually, and it is quite a big difference. So I guess you know, the lesson to take from this one is that I don't need to worry about something that's not immediately under threat. And looking at it now, they couldn't really put the piece in threat without, you know, if they do this. It's not causing any pressure on my bishop, you know, it simply, it stops it retreating. Sure. Does that actually matter? Probably not, whereas, you know, the computer likes this move. Developing the knight is probably a great thing to be looking at doing. It kind of lets us take more control, you know, take the front foot. We should play to be on the front foot, given we have a huge advantage here. I guess that does make sense to me. I think this is maybe the thing to take away from this game for us. We'll very quickly flick through the rest of these and see if there was anything that was glaringly obvious. I think it is maybe worth talking about this move here. So I mentioned this in the game that I didn't like taking their bishop, and it looks like the game doesn't either. The engine did like the knight to here to possibly stop the bishop coming in anyway, and possibly try and get ourselves a bishop for a knight trade instead. Had they decided to go ahead with it, maybe they would have not and just kept their bishop, I don't know, but it looks like the way we played it was actually quite strong anyway. And that's all there is to really say about that one. So there's the first two games. I mean, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's been not too frustrating watching me make blunders left, right and centre, but you can join me in the next video for another couple of games, and yeah, we'll continue on from here. So overall we've managed to play 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss, but drop 61 rating. Hopefully we could do something about that. It'd be nice to see it at 4 digits at some point. I've no idea what the skill level difference is between where I'm at now and, you know, 1,000 rating, but we'll come back, we'll see what we can do about that. So thank you for joining me, and hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.